a question they don't want you to sit with. You want honesty, not the loud kind, the quiet kind that doesn't argue with you. It just sits there. Have you ever noticed something strange? The people who ask uncomfortable questions don't seem to last very long, not always dramatically. Sometimes they just disappear from relevance, from platforms, from funding, from public memory. Not silenced, just faded. That alone should make anyone pause. Because here's a thought worth sitting with. What if the world isn't really run by individuals at all? What if it's run by systems? Systems so large that no single election actually changes their direction? 1. A pattern worth noticing. Who really decides? We're taught that countries govern themselves, that leaders make decisions, that voting steers the ship. But when you follow the outcomes and not the speeches, you start to see something else. Debt outlives governments. Trade agreements outlast elections. Financial obligations quietly override public will. Whoever controls the money supply doesn't need to stand at a podium. That's not a claim. It's an observable pattern. 2. Another odd consistency. Conflict never seems unprofitable. Wars are described as failures, tragedies, last resorts. And yet the same industries thrive every single time. Weapons manufacturers, reconstruction firms, energy interests. Entire regions are called unstable, but the instability always benefits someone. If war were truly a mistake, it wouldn't be so reliable. 3. Notice how information is shaped. Most people don't feel informed anymore. They feel overwhelmed. Stories arrive pre-framed. Outrage rotates on schedule. Some events dominate headlines. Others vanish without explanation. That's not censorship in the old sense. It's something quieter. Attention management. 4. The topics that end careers. There are certain subjects that consistently come with consequences. Not because they're false, but because they're sensitive. High-level corruption, transnational crime, elite criminal networks. People who get too close don't always get proven wrong. They just stop being around. That pattern exists across countries, decades, and political parties. That should unsettle anyone, regardless of ideology. 5. Resource-rich countries share an uncomfortable fate. Another strange repetition. Nations that attempt to control their own resources often experience intervention. Coup, sanctions, economic pressure, sudden unrest, different justifications. Same result. Control changes hands. Again, not a theory, a historical rhythm. 6. Power without oversight doesn't need a name. You don't need to believe in a shadowy cabal to notice how much power exists without accountability. Intelligence agencies with sealed budgets, private contractors beyond public law, permanent institutions that never face elections. Whether you call it a deep state or just bureaucracy without breaks doesn't matter. The function is the same. 7. The digital world isn't neutral. The internet feels free, but it remembers everything. Your habits are tracked. Your emotions are mapped. Your behavior is predicted. Not for your benefit, but for optimization. You're not just a user, you're a data source. 8. The question that actually matters, here's the real thing to sit with. Why would systems with nothing to hide work so hard to control narratives, attention, and memory? Why silence some voices while amplifying others? Why punish pattern recognition but tolerate endless noise? Because raw truth isn't explosive. Understanding is. Not rebellion, clarity. And clarity doesn't need permission. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm asking you to notice what keeps repeating. Because once you see patterns, you don't need someone to convince you. I'm Ashen Quill, and this isn't a revelation. It's an invitation to look again.